I'm going to show you a couple of really obvious quick fixes to hit better drives, and it's got very little to do with technique. I'm going to give you 3 checkpoints, if you will, steps that I want you to go through to ensure that you're either not doing it or doing it. Number 1, one of the biggest losses to your drives is where you hit it on the club face. You see, the club is designed to hit longer drives from the top of the club face here, and actually favors hitting it out of the toe. That may be all well and good, but the problem is too many of you are hitting your drivers out of the heel. You're setting up with your driver right behind the ball. But what happens is during the swing, because we're going on the upswing with the driver, as we actually strike it, we're hitting the driver in the worst possible spot if we don't allow for it, which is sort of out of the neck, lower on the club face. And what that's going to do is create more spin, lack of distance. With that understanding, we can make a tiny little adjustment before every single drive you hit. I want you to actually set up your driver as if you're going to hit it out of the toe of the club and moving it back just about an inch or so behind the ball. What this is going to do is encourage you to swing up and from inside to out, okay? If you're over here, it's very unlikely that your swing is going to be pulled across this way. But if we start it out the middle, we're pulling across this way, we're going to get that glancing blow out of the heel. So set up out of the toe and an inch behind the ball, and I wager you're going to be hitting the center of the club face a lot more frequently. The next power leak is the way you're moving through impact. Not so much your body, and it's not about getting swing speed, it is about delivering the club with the correct way it was designed to strike the ball, all right? And most of you have this big fault. If we have a swing that early extends a little bit or tries to hit it a bit too hard and we've raised this handle up, okay, through impact, and usually that's a consequence of some other things, getting a bit sort of stuck on the downswing, coming over the top here, trying to compensate that way. But instead of trying to fix several other things that potentially might be the cause, the most optimal way to hit a driver is not with the club being dead flat. It's not with it being sort of heel off the ground, where too many of you are. It's actually designed for the toe to be a little bit higher through impact, okay? Through that impact area, we want that toe to be a little bit higher. More speed. It's going to help you hit the center of the club face more often, but help your swing path, especially the release through, because we're not fighting ourselves. Without a club, I want you to get your thumbs. We're going to take our setup. Observe where your thumbs are pointing. We're kind of replicating a grip, if you will, but the thumbs are kind of pointing a little bit further up. I make my backswing, thumbs pointing up. I don't want my thumbs pointing down through the ball here. I want you to have a sensation that as you swing through, your thumbs are actually pointing up through impact and on the through swing as well. That's going to help us sort of draw pattern a little bit and help that swing move all the way round. But it's going to help that driver glide through. It's the most aerodynamic way rather than here, okay? So with that sensation, a few practice swings of thumbs up. Let's just do a couple of little half swings, okay? Feeling like those toe of the club is staying up. Tommy Fleetwood does this very well. And you see him practice swinging like here. It's almost like the hands are lower, those thumbs are pointing up. I'm not trying to do this, but it's a feeling of a little bit more hinge this way through impact, keeping those thumbs up. And what you'll find is it gives you a nice shallow angle of attack, because if we're throwing those hands down, that club gets steeper. Because the driver is so long and our swing is the fastest, we've got to sort of control, battle, whatever you want to call it, this driver as it's being pulled through. We want to try and maintain it on its path. We don't want it to be pulling us along. So the feeling of the thumbs up through impact is going to give you much more shallow and solid strikes. And I just want you to test it out with some little shots to begin with and notice how much more consistency. If you want to take this a little bit further, you can try it just hitting a few shots off the deck with the driver, because it gets much harder if you're tipping the club up this way. It becomes very hard. But to hit a driver off the deck, to have a smooth delivery, a nice wide arc, we have those thumbs pointing up, okay? We just point those thumbs up. We get that contact. And more distance isn't just about swinging faster and harder. It's about getting the center of the club face, using the driver to help you, and having a sequence that helps. But I'm going to give you one more step that's going to eliminate so many bad drives and give you that extra boost. The next power leak that you're having with your driver is quite possibly the fact that you're trying so hard to swing fast. You're doing two things. You're either just using the hands and arms, where you're not using the body enough, or you're trying to force it. You're trying to get the body into it and really sort of muscle the shots. And what happens is, as we muscle the shots, you can see that my sort of low point, if you will, if the swing is a circle, because we want to be hitting on the upswing with the driver. If I'm suddenly over here, just sort of around impact, that's not going to help me at all. So we need to have a very easy visual. And I love the visual of having a flagpole, right? Going through your back, out the top of your head, and out of your spine. And what we're going to do from here, as we swing around, we're trying to keep that flagpole in place. And we are swinging around it. This club is the extension of our arms. And our arms are swinging around that central flagpole. And you can think of it like a catapult move, all right? So we swing back, we're braced against our legs, we're grounded with the feet, and I can use propulsion to sling this club, but I'm staying centered around this point. I'm from here, this is my launch pad, this is my catapult sensation. So even with short little swings, if I stay centered, the club just whips around. But I'm not trying to swing hard, I'm not trying to swing faster. The only thing I have is that flagpole in my mind as I'm swinging. Once you practice that a few times, you can really start to get a feel of what it's like to catapult. And a way to accentuate it a little bit further is to put your feet and knees together, okay? And we're going to apply the little tips we talked about earlier, but we're going to stay centered. Imagine this flagpole, and I'm going to catapult myself around it. See how I'm staying stable? I'm staying centered. I'm not losing balance. As soon as I lose balance, I'm actually losing power, because we're using propulsion to really garnish effortless speed, effortless power, and consistent power that hits it out of the middle of the face. So try the feet and knees together, okay, to really accentuate that catapult feeling. So there are 3 very easy, quick tips you can do to hit longer drives and understand why you're not hitting it as far. Now, if you want to have 3 steps to really simplify the entire golf swing, check out this lesson. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.